there, a pleasant afternoon to you from the KXAN Live studios. I'm Billy Gates, and this is a show that has yet to be named yet. This is our Thursday stream that we're kind of rebooting until high school football gets going. Typically, this Thursday stream will be reserved for when football gets going in earnest, and we have our KBVO Game of the Week, which the first one is going to be the Taco Shack Bowl, so mark your calendars for that. But until then, I'm just going to grab somebody from our sports department, and today the lucky guy is Jonathan Thomas, and we're just going to talk about sports for a little bit. Today we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks, of course, are in the playoffs, the first round in the Western Conference playoffs against the, I guess you could call it a rivalry now, with the LA Clippers, given their past couple seasons where the Clippers have beaten the Mavericks in the first round of the playoffs, and reporters always going up to Luka Doncic, everybody else on the Clippers, kind of rekindling old pain, if you will. Luka, after his Game 5 performance where he had 35 points and 10 assists, shot that down immediately when a reporter was going to ask him about the Clippers' recent success over the Mavericks. So Jonathan, just kind of give me your thoughts on how this series is playing out. I mean, just kind of maybe just being a basketball fan. I mean, obviously you cover it for, us, but as from a fan's perspective, I mean, how have you seen this series kind of play out?
Yeah, Billy. First of all, I'm honored that you grabbed me. That was it was nice. I love talking NBA, so it was a good grab by you.
Well, good.
And hopefully a good get for you watching. But this series has been a lot of fun. Now, last night's game, it was fun if you're a Mavs fan because they destroyed the Clippers. But it's just been an interesting back and forth series. Of course, the Mavs coming from behind, down by 30, on Sunday, and then coming back, but the Clippers held them off, to win that game. I mean, the series has been full of a lot of interesting moments, but I think the biggest takeaway is the lack of Kawhi. In the previous first two first-round series, the Mavs and Clippers play, Kawhi averaged 32 points in both of them. Kawhi hasn't scored, that total through these 5 games because he's missed 3 of them with that knee injury that's been bothering him. He scored 15 points one game, 9 points in another, and that's been it. So I think that's been a big thing. But it seems like even when Kawhi plays, he kind of throws off the Clippers' rhythm. And so the Mavs have been able to take advantage of that because, they've got the Clippers have a wounded star in Kawhi Leonard, and Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Their symmetry has just been excellent. I mean, they do a really good job of kind of bouncing off of each other. And, Luka, of course, he's been unreal, but I've been really impressed with Kyrie Irving. And it seems like, last year was kind of messy the way that those two played. It's, because, obviously Kyrie got traded there in the middle of the season last year. So they've had a full year together to kind of figure things out this time around. And it really is showing, when you watch them play, because they do a great job. If Luka's kind of struggling or whatever, Kyrie takes over. And Luka has been able to kind of set the tone in a lot of these games at the start. With leading the offense and directing the offense. So I think this has been been a fun series because the Mavs were playing so well going into the playoffs, and that is they've been able to just continue that even against a team like the Clippers, who a lot of folks thought that the Clippers were a title contender. And I still think they're a title contender. But the Mavs have entered that conversation with the way that they played over the last, month or two of the season. And then in this first round against a team as formidable like the Clippers, they've really held their own. And, they've got the opportunity, a prime opportunity here tomorrow night to, clinch the series at home. Don't want to go back to LA for Game 7.
No, and you talk about Game 5. 123-93 at Crypto.com Arena there in LA. And, I mean, you can't be expecting the Mavericks to blow the Clippers out at their place like that. Like, that just kind of seemed like that sort of statement is going to, at least to me, like that's going to carry Dallas through. And I think it's going to get them past the Clippers finally. It's been 3 out of the past 5 seasons that the Clippers and Dallas Mavericks have met in the playoffs, and the Clippers have gotten the best of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This is the third time they've met in the last 5 years. And although the Mavs had great moments like that first time in the bubble, when Luka hit that three to win and, had that iconic moment where he just stands there and everybody mobs him in the bubble. Like the Mavs have definitely had their moments against the Clippers, but they've never been able to, close the door on the second LA team. But they have but that's why I say they have a prime chance to do that now. You can see what I did there. To do that now. But that's why I say this is where though, if they lose this game, and I'm not trying to be absolute about this because obviously there would be a game 7, but this is the chance for the Mavs right here to, they've set it up great. You blew them out on their home court. So if you handle your business and do what you're supposed to do, you're done. You're moving on to the next round. That's the goal right there. You've got the home court advantage back. Yeah. So they've got to protect home court because game 7, anything can happen.
Yeah, and from a fan's perspective, game 7 is music to your ears. But if you're playing and you have a chance to end the series at game 6, the last thing you want to hear is game 7.
If you're a Mavs fan, game 7 is not music to your ears in this situation because that means you squandered your team squandered an opportunity to lock it up in the friendly confines of the American Airlines Center.
If you have no skin in the game, if you will, if you have no rooting interest, then game 7 is great. But if you're a Mavs fan right now, that's the last thing. That's the last thing you want because, anybody can be good one time.
Right,
you know what I mean?
For sure, yeah. But I would caution you Mavs fans, don't celebrate yet. Because whether Kawhi plays or not tomorrow night, the Clippers were embarrassed. They're going to give them everything they got, tomorrow night. So I don't expect, if Dallas wins, I don't expect them to win in blowout fashion the way they won last night. I think it's going to be, a game where it's going to be a dogfight, and it's going to take, Dallas to be as tight as possible, especially in those critical moments, in order to put the Clippers away for good.
And we'll see. That game's at 8:30 on ESPN. They've got the late game there up at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. Let's go back to tonight's game. Look, this is Thursday, obviously. It's when it's being recorded. 2 games in the Eastern Conference tonight. The Bucks and the Pacers, and the Knicks and the 76ers. The Bucks probably a little shorthanded. Might not have Damian Lillard. Might not have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Their 2 best players. The guys that they really built this season around adding Lillard there before the season got going from the Portland Trailblazers. And that still just hurts me to say that because I'm born and bred a Blazers fan growing up in Oregon. So anyway, we'll just kind of put that aside for now. It's okay. I'll go off camera and cry a little bit.
We'll put your address on the screen so people can send you some flowers,
please, please,
thank you, or something.
Thank you, please. It's one of those things where you could make a roster of all the former Portland Trailblazer players that are still currently in the NBA, and that roster would make the playoffs. Like that, it's
they would. This is correct. This is correct.
Anyway,
we can talk about my sons next time. I can do a venting session about my sons too.
Oh, we'll get to that eventually, I'm sure. So Bucks and Pacers play tonight. The Pacers have a chance to end the series. They're up 3-2. The Knicks 76ers play the late game tonight. The Knicks are up in that series 3-2. Does that kind of surprise you at all? The Knicks 76ers? I mean, the 76ers are an interesting case. Like they're kind of going how Joel Embiid goes, and his health sort of dictates how they play.
Yeah. Well, first off, I was actually surprised Embiid played. I know Embiid probably wanted to play. I was a little surprised because he's just so banged up. And I know, I know all the cliches and all the as long as you can breathe, you're gonna play and all this. But Joel Embiid's got a lot going on with his body right now. So I was surprised that he played, and not only that he played as well as he did. Also, but of course Tyrese Maxey was the one who really took things over, scoring 46 points the last game. But to answer your question, Billy, I think the thing with the Sixers-Knicks series, the Knicks, again, they had their opportunity to close them out at home, the other night, and couldn't do it. And now you're facing a possibility of, if Philly can get it done again, now you got to have a game 7 where anything can happen. And I think so. I think that the Knicks fans, certainly, if you see the discourse online at all, Knicks fans are certainly reeling from their Game 5 loss at home to Philly, especially when they scored like the first 6 points in overtime and Philly still came back and won. That was surprising to me. I thought, it was like, hey, great effort, Philly. Y'all did what you could with what you had. And I thought they were done. And then they came back and figured out a way to get it done. Now, coming back from 3-1 is extremely difficult.
Yeah, not a lot of teams have done that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
extremely difficult. So it's not like, well, they won this game, so now, hey, they're sitting pretty. They've got the advantage. But they are going to be at home tonight. Mm-hmm. And if they can figure it out, again, I saw that Sixers ownership, they're not going to let the tomfoolery happen in the city of brotherly love that's been happening, where Knicks fans have sounded like they've invaded. I know they didn't technically invade. I'm sure there were more Sixers fans than Knicks fans. Mm-hmm. Someone said, I think it was Chuck D from Public Enemy, said, Knicks fans, we're just loud. It's not that they're just taking over the arena. They're just louder than everyone. But that doesn't make Philly fans, I'm sure, feel good either. It's like, oh, okay, they're just louder than them. No, that's not the whole point. You want your home arena to be difficult for the opponent. You don't want the opponent to feel comfortable and hear cheers every time something good happens for them. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that. So, I saw that they decided they bought up a bunch of tickets. They're blocking Knicks fans
2,000 tickets
from buying tickets. So it doesn't sound the way that it's been sounding, like Madison Square Garden South.
Yeah.
But the Sixers fans, they're gonna have to bring their A game, just like the Sixers are tonight, because obviously they're facing elimination, so it's do or die. But I just think the Knicks, I think, are going to approach this as urgently as possible, saying, hey, we cannot, as much as we love the Garden, we love our home, we want to go back there to play game 1 of the second round, not play game 7 of this round.
Right. And as annoying as they might be, Knicks fans, I'm talking about, it kind of feels nice to hear them excited about, because like when we were growing up, and I'm just gonna date us and act like we're gonna act like we're talking about the good old days or anything. But like, Jonathan, when we were growing up, the Knicks were awesome. Every single season they were in the playoffs, and like they were getting it done. The days of Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Charles Oakley, like all those guys.
Larry Johnson.
You can go to Larry Johnson. Even let's throw Jeremy Lin in there just for Lin's sanity.
Yeah, that was a fun season.
But I mean, and as much as as cringy as some of the celebrity fans are, look at you, Spike Lee. As cringy as some of those people are, like, it's just sort of nice and comforting to see them on a broadcast cheering for the Knicks. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it's comfort food, right?
Yeah,
it's comfort. Even the teams that you may hate. It's like this in a lot of sports.
Yeah.
Even the teams you may hate, okay, which, let's just keep it real, a lot of people hate New York teams. So Yankees, Knicks, you know what I mean? Like, those two in particular, when they're good, if they've fallen off for a time and then they get back into the scene, so to speak, there's a sense of comfort, because especially when you were a kid, you grow up watching, you grew up rooting against them, always seeing them all the time, and they go away. There's like what happened? The normalcy has worn off. But then when they're back, it's like, all right, good. We're back to what I know. Like, it reminds me of simpler times.
It really does, doesn't it?
So to speak. So I do think it is. I do think in that sense, it's great for the NBA to have the Knicks and the Celtics in the playoffs. Obviously, the Lakers have been in the playoffs and been doing their thing. But, when you have those kinds of teams that everybody grew up seeing, playing and, on this stage, and the Knicks they're the number 2 seed. They're legit. Jalen Brunson is awesome. 40 points in game 5. Yeah. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get to push the Knicks towards series victory. It just didn't happen. But that series has been fun. And I know real quick, the Pacers and Bucks series, that one, I have no idea what to think anymore.
Right.
After the Bucks won, game 5, I mean, they don't have Dame, as you said. They don't have Giannis. They still have Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
And he figured out a way to, help will them to victory, 29 points. Bobby Portis, you talk about a makeup performance. He's been ejected before, in the game before. Yeah. And, game 5, he scores 29 points. I mean, that's how you make it up make it up to your team right there. When you have to miss some time, significant time in a game, you come back and have an incredible game the next time out. So they did their thing. I don't know now. Between them and Indiana at this point with the injuries, it's super even.
Sure.
I do truly believe it's a toss-up. I know that's not super, interesting to say, but it is a toss-up.
Come on,
because
man.
I don't know. I do not know what I'm going to see tonight. When they take the court, I have no idea what I'm going to see. I have no idea what team, what version of the Bucks we're going to get, what version of the Pacers we're going to get. I have no idea. But I will say I expect Indiana to win. Okay. I'm expecting Indiana to win. I'm expecting both of these series to be over tonight.
All right. Yeah, Bucks Pacers 5:30 TNT. That's at Gainbridge Fieldhouse there in Indy. And then Knicks and 76ers tonight, 8 p.m. on TNT right after the first game, and that is at the Wells Fargo Center there in Philly. One more game that's tomorrow that's in the East. The Cavs and Magic, we're not going to spend a ton of time on it. Obviously,
because you know why we're not spending a ton of time on it? Because neither is anyone else.
Because neither is nobody else except our buddy Noah Gross.
True.
But that's kind of why.
And he doesn't want to spend a lot of time on it because the Cavs have been angering him for a very long time. And that's playing out in this series.
Well, they can end it in Orlando tomorrow. So we'll see.
Could. We'll see if they will. We'll see if they will. I'll say, though, that I got to give props to Orlando, though. They, again, another team like the Mavs who played awesome down the stretch in the regular season. And then they kept that going in the first round, which I expected the Mavs to keep it going in their series against the Clippers. I did not expect Orlando to play this well against Cleveland. I will say that. I expected a Cavs in 5 type of situation.
The gentleman's sweep, if you will.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that it's been this back and forth between those two. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from Orlando. Like they're gonna be, a thorn in the side of a lot of teams going forward.
And if you're the betting type, Orlando's getting 3.5. Or giving, excuse me. No. They're a 3.5 point favorite. If you're into that sort of thing. It's a contentious topic for some.
Well put, Billy.
I don't want to go all Brent Musburger on you. But, the Clippers and Mavericks play tomorrow night, 8:30. That's on ESPN. We'll see if Luka and Kyrie and company can get the Mavs past the dreaded Clippers, who have had their playoff number the past couple seasons. So we'll see if the NBA's leading scorer can do it again, because he needs to. When you need your guys to be the guy is in the playoffs, and he'll have to have another, I think, 30-pointer to really get them where they need to go.
Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, like I said, the nice thing for Dallas is, they're at home. They should be the relaxed team, but I don't think they will be.
We'll see.
But they should. They should be.
We'll see, and that's why the game isn't played on paper. That's why they actually meet at a designated place and they play the game.
Yep, exactly. If I could do my allergies have been bothering me, Billy, so I can't do the Chris Berman voice now, but that's why they play the game. Exactly. Just imagine that in the Chris Berman voice.
We will, and maybe next time, once your allergies have calmed down, we can get some voice work out.
I hope so. I can't wait.
We'll
I'd love
see.
to do voice work, and I'd love to do different voices.
We'll see. All right. Well, we'll end this stream with that. Tune in next week because who knows what we're going to talk about. This is just kind of a fluid deal, and maybe,
who knows who'll be here.
I mean,
might be me again.
We might pepper in some Austin FC. Might have some more UT stuff. Like, who really knows at this point until high school football rolls around and then the Thursday show becomes the high school football show. But until next week, thank you so much for watching. For Jonathan Thomas, I'm Billy Gates, and we'll talk to you again soon.